Today we're diving into an industry that's all about artistry and craftsmanship, but it's going through this massive, massive change. And that change is being driven by code, by data, by algorithms. We're talking about fashion, of course, and how technology is basically rewriting its entire playbook, from the very first sketch all the way to the clothes in your closet. And to really get a feel for how much things are shifting, let's just start with one simple question.
So, just for a second, picture it. How is a dress made? You know, if you're imagining a designer with a sketch pad, maybe some scissors, a trusty sewing machine, you're not wrong. But you're definitely not seeing the whole picture anymore. That whole process is being completely revolutionized. And this slide, this really gets right to the heart of it. On one side, you've got all the physical tools that have defined fashion for, well, centuries. But on the other side, a totally new toolkit, one that's built on data, digital materials, and even virtual identities. The tools themselves are becoming computational, and that right there is changing literally everything.
All right, so let's start at the very beginning of a garment's life, the design phase. This is where the first big disruption is happening. Designers are getting a brand new, incredibly powerful collaborator, artificial intelligence.
So what does AI in fashion actually mean? Look, it's not about robots taking over for designers, not at all. It's about using these super powerful algorithms as a tool. Think of it like a digital muse. This tool can chew through massive amounts of data to predict what we're all going to want to wear next season. It can help create totally new styles, and it can even tailor clothing specifically for you. And this workflow here shows you just how deep AI can get. It all starts with predicting trends, right? It scans tons of social media posts, sales data, you name it, to figure out what's coming next. From there, it can actually generate styles, suggesting new shapes, new color palettes that a human designer might not have even thought of. Then, it gets personal, tailoring options just for you. And finally, and this is a huge deal for inclusivity and sustainability, it can optimize the fit, creating patterns for all kinds of different body types, which helps slash waste from returns. And listen, this isn't some sci-fi movie concept. Companies like Stitch Fix are already all over this. They use AI to figure out your personal style, and then they just send you a curated box of clothes. It's hyper-personalization, all powered by data, and it's a model that's totally shaking up the retail world.
Okay, so once a design is locked in, how does it go from being pixels on a screen to an actual physical garment? Well, that takes us to the factory floor. Or maybe I should say the new digital factory, where technology is turning prototyping and production upside down. One of the most futuristic-feeling technologies here has got to be 3D printing. It lets designers create these incredibly complex, intricate designs that would be basically impossible with old-school methods. It also means you can get customized, one-of-a-kind pieces made just for you, on demand. But maybe the biggest game changer here is sustainability. By printing only the exact material you need, you cut waste like crazy, and you can even use cool, innovative recycled materials. And we're not just talking about function. This stuff is absolutely beautiful. This quote about the designer Iris Van Herpen's work just nails it. She uses 3D printing to create these stunning, sculptural pieces that honestly look like they're from another planet. This is where code truly becomes couture. But hey, it's not just for the high fashion runway. Big-time brands like Adidas are using this tech for products you and I can buy. Their Futurecraft 40 sneakers, they've got a 3D printed sole that can be fine-tuned for customized performance. This is technology scaling up and hitting the mass market right now. But 3D printing isn't the only thing changing the factory. We also have robotics stepping in to handle all that intricate, repetitive work, automating everything from cutting delicate fabrics with insane precision to sewing really complex seams. The advantages here are just so clear. Automation means you can make things faster, which helps brands keep up with lightning-fast trends. It can bring down labor costs. And probably most important for us as customers, it delivers way higher precision and consistency. And that means you get a better quality piece of clothing every single time. So the clothes are being designed and made with all this new tech. But what about how we actually buy them? Well, the revolution is happening there too. It's taking us into virtual worlds and creating this whole new kind of immersive boutique. This slide gets at a really fundamental new idea, the concept of having two wardrobes. We've all got our physical one, obviously, but more and more people are building a second one, a virtual one, made of digital-only clothes for their online avatars. Which, of course, leads to the obvious question, right?
Why on earth would anyone spend real money on clothes that you can't even physically touch or wear? It sounds a little strange at first, but the answer really lies in where we're all spending our time.
And it really comes down to this. For millions and millions of people who spend hours in online games like Fortnite or these new virtual worlds, their avatar is their identity. And just like in the real world, what you wear is how you express yourself. So customizing that digital you isn't just a fun little feature, it's a huge part of the whole experience. And that's creating a massive new market for fashion that only exists as data. But what about those of us who are still mostly focused on our physical wardrobe? Well, tech has an answer for that too. Augmented reality, or AR, is acting like a bridge. You just use your phone's camera, and these AR apps let you virtually try on real clothes from the comfort of your couch. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of online shopping. With all this incredible new technology, a new question pops up. How do we really know what we're buying is the real deal, and that it was made ethically? Well, the final piece of this tech puzzle is all about that, building trust and transparency, and it's powered by something called the blockchain.
Okay, to put it simply, a blockchain is kind of like a digital receipt book that can never, ever be changed. For fashion, it's used to create this permanent, transparent record of a garment's entire life story, from the moment the raw material was sourced to the final sale. And here's how that whole journey gets recorded. It starts at the very beginning. Say, the farm where the cotton was grown. That gets logged. Then the fabric mill adds its info to the chain. Then the garment factory. By the time that piece gets to the store and finally into your closet, every single step is locked into this unchangeable, transparent record. You could just scan a tag and see that entire history for yourself. Now, this has two massive benefits. First, it helps luxury brands fight the huge problem of counterfeit goods. If every item has its own unique digital ID, you can instantly check if it's real. And for us, the consumers, it gives us actual proof of a brand's claims about being sustainable or ethical. So, we've seen how AI, 3D printing, virtual reality, and blockchain are already changing fashion. So, what does the future you'll be wearing actually look like? Where is all of this going? Well, we are just scratching the surface here. You can start looking for smart clothing with sensors baked right in that track your health data, or imagine entire fashion collections designed from the ground up by an AI, perfectly in sync with what the world wants. And we're going to see even more incredible innovation in sustainable materials like lab-grown fabrics and textiles that just biodegrade. Which really leaves us with this one final thought. As our physical lives and our digital lives keep blending together, the very definition of what clothing is changing. The lines between code and couture, between what's tangible and what's virtual, are getting blurrier every day. So the real question is, will your next favorite outfit be one that you never, ever physically touch?